everyone. God bless you. Thank you for joining me in another video. Now, before we get started with our topic, if you haven't done so, become a YouTube subscriber to my channel. Also share, like, and drop a comment. As always, I appreciate everyone's support. Now, let's get into our topic for this video, and that is pandemic fatigue. Pandemic fatigue. We are now living through very historic and unprecedented times. Many of us are dealing with issues and situations and problems that we did not have to deal with before. We are now, many of us, all dealing with a lot of added stress due to this global health crisis that we're still in and that we're still dealing with. And if the truth be told, many of us are just plain old worn out. You know, the fact that many of us can't see our friends and family as freely as we would like to. Many of us haven't seen friends and family in a long time because of this pandemic. We are, dealing with the stresses of, family life. There's now a crisis of childcare due to remote learning, and many of us are just spending a lot more time at home and being with family and more than usual. For some people has created some stress in their lives, not everyone, but for some people. So those are things to think about, and just concerned. Many of us have financial concerns. Some people have lost jobs, and now some people are underemployed, and some people are concerned about whether or not they'll have a job in the future if the economy continues to downward spiral. So many of us are concerned about our finances, and many of us are concerned about greatly about our health and whether or not we'll get sick, or the health status of our family members and of our children. So, these are of great concerns to us that we didn't have to think about before, whether or not if you contract the virus, if you'll live or not. And also the stresses, the social stresses, going out and having to wear a mask and, dealing with that. We didn't have to deal with that before, and just all these restrictions, on travel. We can't travel as freely as we would like, and go to concerts and, go out to eat and just sit in a restaurant and enjoy our time with friends and family, and, just going to, a ball game or football game or basketball game and enjoying our lives and our time, and, being able to travel to different countries or even take road trips. We have to have all these concerns now that we didn't have before, and just interacting with people is different. So, there's a lot of stresses and things that we're dealing with now that we didn't have to deal with before. And what it has done, it has brought on a lot more stress in our lives. And many of us, dealing with months of these added stresses, and the stresses that many of us had before, it has worn us out mentally. It has worn us out spiritually. It has worn many of us out physically. Many of us are doing double duty, caring for others, trying to care for ourselves, working, children at home more full time, remotely. So these are a lot of added stresses. And if you are watching this and you are an essential worker, you've been working even harder, especially, depending on what industry you work for. So, it's just been a lot of things that we have been dealing with. And what happens is when we are under tremendous amount of stress, what it does, it begins to drain the life out of us. It begins to make us tired. It begins to make us weary. And a lot of us are weary about what's going on. I know in the United States, we had just gotten through a very tumultuous election cycle, which has been stressful to many Americans. Just a stressful election. Politics over here have been very stressful, and it's just not in America, it's just around the globe. There's just so many different geopolitical stuff. So there's like existential and external things that we've been dealing with that has had an impact on us personally, on our mental wellness and our emotional wellness. And we're just tired, and we need relief, and we need rest. So I'm going to share with you in this video some practices and some things that have been helping me through in helping prevent pandemic fatigue in my life. And I just want to encourage each and every one of you that you can thrive and you can survive, and don't give up, and don't give up hope. We're not going to always be in a situation. You know, things will change. We're going through a rough patch right now, but it's not going to always be like this. But in the meantime, hold on. Don't give up. Keep hope. Have hope in your heart. Trust God, and you'll get through this. So stressful times and intense times calls for radical measures. And I want to encourage each and every one of you to practice what I call radical self-care. And how you practice radical self-care is through developing practices of recovery. So it's important that each and every one of us have practices or things in place in our lives that we do on a consistent basis to help us recover from the stresses that we're going through in life, to help us with our depression or with anxiety or with the worries that we deal with, right? So I'm going to give you some examples of the practice of recovery that I do on a daily basis, and hopefully it'll be a blessing to you. So one of the practices of recovery that I have that help me to recover from the fatigue of living this life during this time is prayer. So prayer is a practice of recovery. It's a major practice of recovery. So basically when you're praying, you're connecting to the source, you're connecting to God, you're connecting to life. And what stress does and what fatigue of the world does and of our life does, it drains the life out of us. But when you go to God in prayer and when you connect to God and to all the power that is and to life, God is life itself, what you're doing is that you begin to rejuvenate yourself spiritually, emotionally, mentally, in every single facet of your being begins to be recharged through prayer, through connecting to God. So prayer and having a good and a strong prayer life is a good practice of recovery. The next practice of recovery, very important, is sleep and rest. So sleep and rest is major. Many of us have not been able to sleep well during this time period. Many of us have just been so overwhelmed with worry and concerned and, you know, just doing more during this time period, and it's worn us out. So make sure that you are getting proper rest and sleep, because it will help you physically, it'll help your brain to recharge, your body to recharge, and it will give you strength. Which is everything, because if your body is worn out, then you won't be able to do anything. If you end up in a hospital, or if you end up very sick because you're not resting, that's not helpful to you or to your family, right? So if you're one of those persons who you have the tendency to put other people's needs ahead of your own, I really want to encourage you during this season to take your wellness serious and to basically put your wellness first, because you can't, if you're sick and you're unable to help people because you run yourself into the ground, if you burnt yourself out, then you're not going to be able to help anyone. You're not going to be able to help your family or friends or your kids. So please, or your spouse. So please make sure that you take care of yourself and that you get proper rest and sleep. If you're not able to do that on your own and you need professional help, go see your doctor, go see your therapist, if it's mental, if it's physical. But make sure that you do everything that you can to get proper rest and sleep. And that may also mean saying no to certain things. It's okay to say no when it comes to your wellness. So please, please take care of yourself. So rest and sleep is a practice of recovery. Meditation, being still, decompressing, taking that quiet time and that time of stillness to release those things, you know, that's been nagging you, that's been swimming around in your mind, those thoughts, right? So meditation will help bring balance to you and to your life. So the practice of meditation is a practice of recovery, right? Also, another major practice of recovery is exercise and eating well. So making sure that you exercise is a great stress reliever, and it will help you get back on the path and help to heal your body and just to release some things. And also eating well, making sure that you're mindful of what you put in your body, making sure that your body has the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients to function properly and correctly, and not, you know, eating, you know, turning to junk food or binge eating. But please be mindful of, because those things are harmful to your body, especially if you do it on a consistent basis. So make sure you put the right things into your body, because that will help with your recovery from stress. Exercise and eating well. Also, what's helpful, another major thing, is social connections. Make sure that you're connecting with friends and family. Don't isolate yourself during this time. That's another practice of recovery. Make sure that the healthy relationships in your life, that you're connecting to the right people and you're connecting to those who love you and those who support you. And, you know, just having that social interaction will help to lift your spirits and help to recover. You know, having conversations with friends and meeting up with friends, you know, socially distanced meetups, you know, do that. But make sure you're having, you know, strong social connections during this time. It'll be very helpful to help you and I fight against pandemic fatigue. Those are some of the practices that I practice, but make sure that you come up with your own strategies and your own things that work for you. Make sure, another thing I didn't mention, make sure also that you do things throughout the day and throughout the week that brings you joy and happiness. That also, joy and happiness, and doing things that gives you pleasure, that's constructive and that's positive. These are the things that will also help your soul recover, help your spirit recover, help your mind recover, and your body recover from the many things that are coming at us and that are just draining us. So those are the things that I wanted to share with you in this video. Make sure you practice radical self-care. Make sure you put your wellness first, and that will basically help you fight against pandemic fatigue. We're gonna make it. You're strong enough, you can do it. Let's do it together. Make sure that you just take care of yourself. And those are the things that I wanted to share with you in this video. Once again, thank you for your support. Take care, God bless, and I will see you in the next one.